Sri Lanka need 288 runs. India needs 6 wickets. That is where the first test lies as we go into the final day at Galle on Cricinfo Matchday. Cheteshwar Pujara joins us to look back on day 4. Puji, welcome back. Thank you for your time. We got 85 overs, which is a lot, which is a celebration in itself. From the way the day panned out, would you say it's almost entirely to plan for India?
Yeah, I think things did way India's way, but there was some concern where India started losing a couple of wickets early on, and then inning had to be stabilized. The way I think Devdutt batted, it was impressive to see that he's continuing his form, the way he was timing the ball, the way he was playing his shots, along with KL Rahul, who got an opportunity but still carried on from there. Maybe didn't get a big one, but yeah, I think what was impressive for me when it came to India's batting was the way Rishabh Pant batted. It's not just about the number of runs he had scored, but he learned from his mistakes. He learned from how he batted in the first innings, where Kesra got him out. But he had a clear game plan against him. He was willing to defend few deliveries. He was playing his sweep shot. Then he started playing reverse sweep as well, and he was assessing the condition and respecting some good deliveries. And he had to play his natural game. I mean, I'm never against Rishabh Pant playing his natural game. But sometimes he's a little reckless. Sometimes he doesn't assess the situation and then goes too hard, which becomes slightly predictable in test format. But today he was very impressive, and India needed someone to score those runs, and it came at the right time. And Rishabh Pant was the guy to do that, and that was impressive to see today.
Let's go further into Pant. You've seen so much of him from the closest quarters and some of the most iconic innings. I mean, your description of how he went from the first innings to the second innings here in Galle was almost similar to how we describe that day at Gabba on day 5, where he started one way and then he went to another dimension. Take us into the mind of Pant, the batter, between innings or between tests. What is he thinking? How much or how differently is he preparing?
Well, one thing is for sure where he's very fearless, and that is very good when it comes to playing the way he does. But there is a fine line between fearless and reckless, and sometimes he doesn't understand that he's crossing the line, and that is why I think people who guides him, people who is very close to him, whether it's team management or the coaching staff, they have to go and talk to him and talk to him in a positive way, because you need to tell him that yes, you don't want Rishabh Pant to change his style of play, but you still, when it comes to Test cricket, you still need to assess the condition. You still need to respect good spell. You still need to assess which shots you need to play. And for me today, I think his shot selection was perfect. The way he was planning his innings, that was perfect. And sometimes in between the innings, when he gets out, he has this mindset that I will continue batting the same way. I mean, even if I defend, I will get out. But you as a player need to plan, and he actually in his mind he does do a little bit of homework. Although yes, when it comes to playing shots, you need to be spontaneous. You need to pick the ball, and that's where I feel that if he picks the right ball, there is no one who can stop him. But sometimes he has this pressure that no, I have to go after the bowler. But you need to go after a bowler in a way where you need to have more chance of succeeding. And today I think we saw that his percentage of executing the shots which he was playing were more, because when you focus on playing reverse sweep, when you focus on playing sweep shot, which is his strength, which paid him a lot of success today.
Yeah, 66 of 69 for Pant, coming in at 81 for 3, which means he effectively scored 60% of the runs India made through the remainder of their innings. That meant India, eventually there was no declaration. Fuji, 193 all out as it was in almost 49 overs, target 372. Did you agree with the declaration or the non-declaration in this case, and how India chose to time and pace their innings?
I thought there should have been a declaration, maybe say 5 6 overs earlier. I'm not saying that you don't need to get to 370, 380, but if you as a team, if you want to get to 370, maybe you can try and accelerate a bit more. Ultimately, I mean, India might win this game if there is no rain interruption. But if there is rain interruption, you don't want to be in a situation on day five where you're thinking that we could have declared 5 6 overs earlier when you have the opportunity. When you get close to 350, I think that's the ideal time to declare.
All right. We will come to see by this time tomorrow evening how much they regret it, if at all, if Sri Lanka can
And
get something from.
hopefully, India doesn't need to regret. And I'm saying this because see, there is forecast where I mean, India may not get the entire 97, 98 overs which are there on day five. And you don't want to be when you are thinking about WTC. I think it's better to keep something in mind where you are giving yourself the best chance to win a game.
Yeah, it is only the forecast that makes this a conversation at all. Otherwise, India could have done it as much. They still were
Yeah,
giving themselves about 4.5 sessions. As it
yeah.
turned out, they got one lengthy session of bowling in the final session. What stood out to you in the 34 overs that India bowled on day four, taking 4 wickets?
I think what was impressive to see is the way, firstly, our seamers bowled, Siraj and Prasidh Krishna both. Because on a pitch like this, where there is enough assistance for spinners, you always think that your spinners will do the job. But our seamers, the way they were running in, the kind of purpose they had when they were bowling, especially Siraj when he bowled some bouncers, Prasidh Krishna altering his length. I've also heard in his interview that on a slower pitch, he's trying to rectify his length, where his natural length is back of length, but he's willing to go a little fuller. So you are bowling with a purpose, not just to land in that area, but you are also looking to pick wickets, which was very impressive to see. After that, I think Panav Suthar, the way he bowled again in this innings, uh, his seam position, the kind of length he's bowling. Also, I think a critical part, I would say, because apart from this, the number of wickets India got, which was 4 wickets, the way Shubman was rotating the bowlers. Only thing I would suggest, or I'll be a little critical, is Kuldeep Yadav could have bowled more number of overs, and that's where I felt that you need to back him. You need to show a little more faith in his ability, where he's a match winner, and you, as a leader and as a captain, you need to show that Kuldeep Yadav is the man. Because yes, you have Ravindra Jadeja, you have Manav Suthar, but you still need to show a little more faith in Kuldeep Yadav. Give him an over while the ball is new. He came in, I think, once the ball was little old. But when the ball is new, we have seen that there is bit more grip from the pitch. There's bit more pace from the pitch when the ball is hard and new.
Yeah, it's only the 29th over when Kuldeep came on to bowl. He bowled three towards the end of the day. Do you feel like this Indian setup at times can lose faith in Kuldeep too early or too soon?
I think there's not enough confidence when it comes to Kuldeep's bowling, and I don't know what is the reason. I'm sure there might be some team strategy. There might be some thought process that you want Manav Suthar and Ravindra Jadeja to bowl while the ball is new. But someone like Kuldeep, I think you need to show a lot more faith. You need to have that confidence that he's the guy. Because yes, I know there are senior bowlers. There is Ravindra Jadeja, Manav Suthar, who has bowled really well in the first innings. I'm not trying to take any credit away from them, or not trying to be any critical with their ability. But when you look at all three bowlers, there's one guy who stands out for me, yeah, and that is Kuldeep Yadav. And on a pitch like this, if you are not showing that faith in your top bowler, who can be your match winner, who is probably for me, I think, one of the best spinners in our side. Uh, I don't know whether it's the team management or the captain, whoever it is. I think you just, and I'm not saying that they are not giving him in that opportunity, but you need to. Uh, I mean, I don't have the right word, but you need to show that faith in Kuldeep that yes, you are the man who will do the job for Team India. And when you do that with Kuldeep, his body language changes, his performance on the field changes a lot.
Now, when we look ahead to the challenge, and of course, it's a safe assumption that the spinners will have a big role to play on the final day. But when you look ahead to the final day, Puji,
Yeah,
using the softer ball, we saw through the first half of this test in India's first innings as well as Sri Lanka's first innings that between overs, say 35 to 60, it
yeah,
wasn't that easy for the spinners. And that is essentially the period where India's day starts on the final day as they're looking to take these 6 wickets. So how do they use it better? How do they make better use of this 34 over old ball?
Firstly, I think start with a seamer. I would love to see tomorrow that Siraj starts spinning from one end, and then you can have either Kuldeep, Manav Suthar bowling from the other end. But I would love to see 4 overs of Siraj and 4 overs of Prasidh Krishna from one end. Continue bowling with a seamer from one end, and then rotate your spinners from the other end. That is how I will look at it. I hope that there's some feedback from the team management. And the bowling coach as well. But look, when you are in a situation where the ball is little old, and we have seen that. See, majority of the wicket were taken by seamers today. Even the Sri Lankan seamers, when they started bowling bouncers, they were quite effective. So. I think seamers have a bigger role to play. Once the ball gets softer, we have seen that it reverses a bit. So it will be important to see that how Shubman uses Siraj and Prasidh Krishna tomorrow. But spinners, when it comes to spinners, what spinners will have to do is that they will have to block Sonal's sweep shot, because he is very good at sweeping, and majority of his runs are scored by playing sweep and the reverse sweep shot. So try and have enough fielders down there. Try and block him over there and make him do something else. Because when Kuldeep came into his first spell, when he was bowling his first over, his Sonal's first shot was sweep shot. There was no square leg. After that, obviously, there were some changes in the field, but make him play a lot more on the onside against the spin. Try and keep that mid wicket fielder open. Try and show him that gap, whether he's willing to take that chance of going against spin against Kuldeep. So yeah, you need to be a little brave. You need to have that courage of leaving some gaps open for the batters. And even against, say, Ravindra Jadeja or Manav Suthar, when they are bowling over the stumps against left-handers, try and leave that covers fielder open. Just have a deep point and mid off a bit wider, and show them that gap. Are you willing to take some chances against the spin, against quality bowlers? And you need to seize those moments, because from the pitch, maybe they may not be enough help when the ball gets little softer, but you need to be little more innovative as a captain and even as a bowler, to try and force them to make an error rather than just relying on the pitch to pick a wicket.
From Sri Lanka's perspective, the overnight pair, Dhananjay De Silva, Sonal Dinusha, and then Niroshan Dickwella to follow half-century in the first innings. Do you think Sri Lanka's chances of getting something in this test rely on those three?
Yeah, it does. Can they win a game? Maybe, maybe not. It doesn't look like, since when you lose 4 wickets, the environment in the dressing room always becomes conservative. Uh, at the moment, I think Sri Lankan dressing room will be thinking that can we get a draw out of this? I mean, let's not lose this game. So you get into a situation first where you are not losing a game. And if you get into that situation, that is where you start thinking, now, can we get to India's total? That comes later. First, they will have to ensure that they don't lose a game. And then if there is enough time in the game, and if one of the batter gets to a big 100, then you look at the victory. But at this stage, I don't think Sri Lanka is looking at winning the game. If there's some rain around, they will be thinking, can we get a draw out of this?
Yeah, everyone will be looking upwards, at least at the start of play. Let's see how much play we get on the final day. Right, Puji, we leave it there. I'm also putting a pin on one of the notes we had, which was that no ball of Jadeja, which gave Dhananjay De Silva a life. I think we'll have a better idea of whether it cost India or not when we see you after day 5.
And also, I would love to see a stat, because I've been part of India's team where Ravindra Jadeja has bowled no ball and he has picked up a wicket. So I remember so many occasions, but I would love to see a stat where who is that international bowler who has picked up so many wickets when they've bowled a no ball.
That gives
I
us some
think
homework.
I think Ravindra Jadeja might be on top of that list.
I can tell you he's way clear on the list for most no balls by a spinner in tests since he's been playing.
But even picking up a wicket in a no
picking
ball, I
up
think
wickets,
Ravindra
yes.
Jadeja is on top of that list.
All right, you've given us homework, Puji. We will run through the data and hopefully we'll have an answer for you when we see you at the end of day 5. But thank you so much for your company. Make sure to catch us at the end of day 5, whichever way the Galle Test ends. Cheteshwar Pujara will be here with us on Cricinfo Match Day to unpack it for you.